everyone, it's Thursday. That means it's time for the Geek Chat on the Experience. We got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about Ironheart. We're going to be talking about some new number ones. So let's get it started. Hey everyone, thanks for showing up this Thursday evening, afternoon, wherever you are. I am Beardy Rich.
And I am Little Black Beardy Dez.
And you are watching the Geek Chat on the Experience. So, Dez, how's your day so far?
Really? That's how you're doing it? My day was long. My day was long. Yeah, I'm getting ready for a big event this weekend. So I'll be working this weekend. But hey, I got stuff to do for it, but I could not miss this. I needed to be here to talk to you all about comics, to just unwind with my people. So I'm happy to be here, and happy that you're here to watch this with us and to experience this with us, here at the Experience. So thank you.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, Paul. But as always, we have a giveaway, don't we, Rich?
We do. It is a great 1 in 25 from Michael Cho. That is the new history of the DC Universe, number 1, cover H by Michael Cho.
Yes. And we will be reviewing this book today, and I'm excited to review it because it was very interesting in the way that they decided to go through this history. It is told to you, and it's different because I was so used to like the who's who and stuff like that. So let's say what's up to Easy Rider,
Triple B, Kobe,
and then Eddie and everyone else. So, Rich, how was your day?
We're not going to acknowledge the Russian spam bot.
Oh, but I was like, "Hi, Russian spam bot. Nice to meet you. If you want to talk about comics, sure." He's like, "Hello, comics." But how was your day, sir?
Good. I got up about 2, and read comics and took the dog out for 2 walks, and yeah.
Wow. So you basically had a nice chill day after working so many days that you did, a while there. So it's it's good to be back to a normal schedule, right?
It is kind of, Good. I hate working, but who does like working?
Yeah. A few announcements for all you folks out there. So next week we will not be having a show. That is because we will be away for
July 4th.
Actually, will we have a show next week? I think we will, actually. Now think about it. Let me check the calendar real quick, because I want to make sure that I'm giving you the right information. I don't think we are, because we are leaving. We are leaving. Sorry, everybody. We are leaving and going to. Oh no, we're not. We're leaving on Friday. Sorry.
Thursday's the 3rd.
So sorry. We will be here. We will be here. Sorry, Rich.
We are having a show next week.
Yes, we will not be having a show on the 10th, because that is the day that Superman comes out, and we will be geeking out watching Superman do his thing. And we're going to talk about him a little bit later and see what some of the rumors are and some of the craziness, and have. So if you don't want to listen to that, we're also going to be talking about the last Fantastic Four trailer. So I know Kyle is just like, no spoilers. So we're going to tell him to put some hair in his ears, and we can have conversations about that.
As a slight spoiler, that day the 10th, you guys are gone. The new half beardy, aka Mutton Chop Kyle, will be filling in, doing some sort of show during this time period.
That is awesome. Yes. So our producer Mutton Chop Kyle will be doing that. So honorary beardy.
Mutton Chop Kyle.
By the way, I love that nickname.
Mutton Chop Kyle. All right. He's our Appalachian cousin. So just so that's enough from us. we
Hey,
got
Barlord.
to talk about. First thing we're talking about is Ironheart episode 1 through 3. I'm gonna let you go first, Rich, because I know you. Okay, I know that sometimes you have a love-hate relationship with Marvel TV. So I want to hear what you think first, because I have opinions about this show. One very strong opinion about it, that if you look at it too hard, it kind of like unravels the show, at least in my mind. But I'll bring that up later. So why don't you let us know what your thoughts are?
Wow. All right. So I did not hate this. I didn't. Shocked. Yes.
Really?
So it's funny. I've been reading a lot of the reviews about this show, and people that like to tear it apart are tearing it apart for all the obvious reasons. You know that. One writer said that I think he gave it a 3 out of 10. A lot of 5 out of 10s. So I want to start with, this show should have been put out years ago. It's
Oh yeah.
in the can and been done for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like Marvel is just burning them off. 2 days, 3 episodes each. They're less than a half hour. Less than a half hour.
Yeah, the first one
Yes,
was
you need to-
40 minutes. Yeah.
It what?
It was 43 minutes for the first one, and then they were all like 30 minutes after that, if I remember correctly.
Well, I think the third one was 24 minutes, and when you take
Ooh.
out the 5 minutes of commercial,
The
or
intro.
not commercial, the
Intro
credits at the end,
and the credits at the end. Yeah.
credits at the end, because you get everything. Many people are saying, who asked for this? And Cook and I were talking last night, and something I want to bring up is, I'm one of the people that say, who asked for Wonder Man? Who asked for that? Wonder Man would have made sense if he debuted during WandaVision, because she was in a TV world and he's an actor. An actor. That would have made more sense. So Riri shows up in Black Panther 2, helps Shuri save Wakanda, and then we wait all these years. And was it worth it?
Okay. Quick side note correction.
Yes.
The Ironheart episodes are between 41 and 57 minutes long. That is
Yeah.
not, I looked it up, and that is not including the 5 minutes at the end. So roughly about 30 minutes ish.
Okay.
For a normal episode. I'm assuming the last episode will hit that kind of close to hour mark.
Maybe, let's hope.
Yeah.
It's funny, we were like 10 minutes into the first episode, and I texted Des, and I said, fragile white men are going to hate this show because it is unapologetically black.
Well, yeah.
And okay, let's get into the meat of this. And we're going to do spoilers. So if you don't want to know what's going on, mute us for a little bit. The fact that she has created the AI, the fact that she is so determined, which makes her kind of an anti-hero, not a villain, but she doesn't do the right things in the right way. The way she goes about trying to make money.
Yeah. It's villainy through necessity, as
Yes.
what we'll call that. And some people will say, villainy is villainy no matter what. But what if it's for the greater good? And that's a question that they're posing for this question.
And it really is. It really is. The reveal in episode 3, I think, cements it into the Iron Man lore. I was very excited for that reveal.
It's Obadiah's, his son.
Are we just gonna say it?
Yeah,
it's Ezekiel Stane.
Yeah, Ezekiel Stane's Obadiah's son. So we're finally getting to see this character. He is, I don't know, he's coming off really as like a nice guy, a good guy. Is he gonna be a villain? Is he not gonna be a villain? we'll have to wait and see, because I didn't realize, I didn't watch a lot of spoilers for this show, and I didn't know what was going to happen. All I knew is that we had the Hood, which is magical, and then we had Riri, which is more technological. And I thought it was going to be more of a battle between magic and technology, and it still might be. It still might be.
Yeah.
Like, we're only in the 3rd episode, so having him show up and acknowledge that history or that lineage was actually pretty cool to see, because we have been, I mean, think about it. There has been a generation of Marvel movies. Okay, let's just think about this. There's been a generation of Marvel movies in which youth have grown up with them, right? With growing up with these movies. So to pay off, someone that was in the first Iron Man movie, what, in 2023 or whatever, and have his son show up in 2025 is pretty crazy. It's like the same thing when they did with Mysterio and his AI stuff. And so, like, they have created their own continuity that they can pick and choose from. And I think that's kind of cool. And it just shows how large the Marvel Cinematic Universe is.
Yeah. Yeah. So Barlord says, I wish they would have done her origin differently. Make her a protege of Tony Stark. Both this and the comic just seem to have too much plot armor.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to talk about that real quick, because that was the one thing, Barlord, that really, okay. So this is the problem that I have with the show. And the problem that I have with the show, and this is coming from the continuity that was done by the MCU. Okay. If we look at Riri Williams' continuity, her from the show, from Marvel, the MCU only, not taking in her comic books and all the stuff like that, she was the person that was the first person to do or create a vibranium detector. Number one, okay, and Black Panther 2 or Wakanda Forever. Okay, number one, fantastic achievement. No one else on the planet has done that. She did that. Okay. Number two, she goes to Wakanda and learns all of this stuff from Shuri, who's like the second smartest person in the world in MCU, right? Does that for a whole movie, gets all these accolades, all this other stuff. Okay. And then at the beginning of this show, you expect me to believe that this prodigy, even though she was a bad student and did her stuff like that, she was not picked up by a brain trust or a government entity or something to allow her to do this stuff. That forced narrative of like the angsty, teenager who has to fight to get all this stuff and all this. No, for me, that should not have been her that should not have been her impetus for all of this stuff, is because she can't find money. Give me a break with that. Okay? People should be knocking down her door in order to give her money to create things for them. I don't understand it. So number one, that was the one thing that pissed me off about the whole thing, was that aspect. I was like, why the hell does she have to steal? She's a genius. Why does she have to steal? Number one. After that, once I kind of had to separate myself from that and just realize this is the plot fit that they're going with, how are they going to tell that story? And after I was able to come to peace with that and actually see the story that they're trying to tell, I'll have to agree with you. It's not that bad given what they had. But I just really wish in hindsight they would have done her a little bit better. And my hope is that because she is a Tony Stark, prodigy, and she got a Tony Stark like this, maybe this will be a redemption for her, a smaller redemption. I don't know, but it just seems very, I don't know, should have been more. So I was just a little annoyed by it. Just a little annoyed.
Other than that, what do you think of the Hood?
I think the Hood is a really good part of the show. I really enjoy that actor, and I enjoy his character, and I enjoy his crew. I enjoy what's happening. I do know that Riri is doing this out of necessity, and I know she's probably going to have to turn against him, most likely towards the end. I want to see how Stain falls in with this between the three of them. You know, is he courting her because he's going to use her? Because it seems like everyone in the show is trying to use her for something, you know, to get their own gains. And so, but hopefully at the end we'll see that Riri is smart enough to realize, or she's playing them. And that's what I want. Like, if she's going to go this route, I want her to end up coming out on top due to her knowledge and not become a victim of circumstance. That's the one thing. That's the one thing. So, all right, let's get to some comments real quick, because I think I kind of, put it up. So Show Enough says, according to Chud logic, only white dudes can start off flawed and redeem themselves as the story progresses. Women can do it too, but they usually have to kill something. I don't know. Hi, Kenneth. Welcome in. Figure Drawing says, Desmond, brilliant minds fall through the cracks all of the time. Okay. Good to know. I haven't seen it first. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it happen firsthand. Okay. I can definitely see that. And it happened to you. Oh, well, hope it got better. Barlord says the government would have given her a fat check. Probably. Barlord, Iron Man, since Iron Man 2, the military has wanted Iron Man tech of their own. Exactly. The military would have came in and did something. And I know they put some stuff about her wanting to work for firemen and first responders and all this other stuff. And that's fine. That's great. But military's got fat checks. So Figure Drawing says, I'm glad the show doesn't suck. It makes the usual suspects look stupid. That's true. It really does.
I'm glad to hear what you're saying about the show. I haven't watched it, and I didn't plan to watch it, because when I read the book, it felt like that thing when white dudes try and write the stories of like the struggle of African Americans growing up in the hood.
That was exactly what it was.
Where it's like Riri Williams is in this position because racism, and never touched more on what kind or how or the situation that led to it. Just assume because this is, and it's like, this sucks. I hated it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that maybe the show will redeem it. And it seems like maybe it's starting to.
Yeah. But overall, given that one thing, I am liking the show. I think the actress, oh my God, I'm forgetting her name. I'm so sorry.
Dominique Thorne.
Yes.
Dominique.
She is acting her ass off, and I love it. I love it. I think she's great. I really like her casting. I think she's fantastic. I just, yeah. I don't know. Rich, must add?
One of the things I like is in that third episode, you have Riri, whose whole motivation was her dad, was Gary.
Yep.
And she wants to be better and help people because of Gary. And then you have Ezekiel, who's trying desperately not to become his father. I really liked that moment at the table where one is trying, he doesn't want to touch anything. He desperately doesn't want to be his dad.
Are you getting shades of Harry Osborn?
No.
Really? Okay, because I was kind of feeling like that. I was like, okay, we're getting like what's his fall going to be? If he is going to have a fall, I mean, he might not. I would say they might save that for season 2, but you never know with Marvel TV if they're ever going to get a season 2
this isn't getting a season 2.
Exactly, I don't think so either. But
so a couple things that bug me, because with every positive, the show is not perfect. The show's definitely not a perfect show. It's better than a lot of them. One thing that really irritated me was the fact that the skin graft and the little laser knife, whatever that was, the clipper thing, fell off during the fight. That was forced narrative, because we need to get Ezekiel, and I did not like that at all. At all. Like, that's forcing it right there. Like, you knew this had to happen, and it just fell off her arm. No. I like that Natalie took over the controls. I like that Natalie is controlling the suit.
And that's from the comics. That is actually canon to the comics,
Yes. and I don't mind the little shift from comic book to TV. Like Coog and I were again talking last night. If you are expecting to go into a TV show and just have it be a play-by-play of the comic, read the comic. I don't mind that they take a little bit of liberties with some things. Some things work and some things don't.
Yeah.
I am really hoping we get a slimmed down version of this armor come episode 6. I like that the initial couple faces of the suit are much like the comic heavy inspiration that hopefully they're drawing from, because one of the problems people were having was that the suit was dinged up and it wasn't clean looking, and it's like she's using scraps. This isn't supposed to be perfect.
Yeah, this is not Iron Man.
No, people's comments. I love reading comments. You know I love reading comments.
Yeah, you do.
And they're stupid. People are just bitching to be stupid MFers. They are like think about it. This girl is pulling stuff out of scrap yards.
Yeah.
I love that you saw it all hooked up, like in the kitchen. Her poor mom. Like, I'm enjoying the realness. I'm saying too much. I'm enjoying the realness of what would happen if you or I were geniuses trying to build a suit of armor in our house. What would you do?
Yeah. I did like seeing Cree Summer though. She was the one in the first episode, and I remember if she was in the other ones, but she was one that was doing the black onyx and stuff. I've always been a fan of Cree Summer since A Different World, so it's always fun to see her acting. She's a voiceover actress, so I love seeing her acting.
I love the whole thing about this black obsidian. It'll help you grieve or something like that.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not grieving. She's like, okay, dear. Okay, dear. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good entry into the overall Marvel cinematic or television universe, I guess. Yes, Munchop Kyle. I love
yes, you love the different worlds.
I loved it. I watched them all recently, actually. But yeah, everybody. Riri Williams. Let's go and see I can place the Cree was. Yeah, she was she was the mom's jewel crystal person.
Crystal friend.
Yeah, her crystal friend. But no, I think it's gonna be a good show. I think it's been fun so far.
3 episodes left.
It's so sad that they threw them out there like that, and now they're gonna be expecting, well, people aren't going to watch it, or, and I'm thinking no one ever gives anything at any time to gestate or get bigger, but I'm just glad we got this. And they didn't do a Batgirl thing on it and just shelf it and say, no, thank you. But Marvel going to get their money though. So trust and believe Marvel going to get their money.
Speaking of Marvel movies, did you see that new Fantastic Four trailer?
All right, Munchop Kyle, it's time for you to mute, buddy. Fantastic Four final trailer. I did. Still hiding Mr. Fantastic's rubbery stuff. Still hiding it. You notice that?
No, they showed it a couple times.
Please.
They did. They showed it a couple.
I'll do this when it's time for you to come back, Kyle. I don't know. I don't know about it. About them showing it. Like, I'm excited. I'm ready to see it. I'm here for it. I don't know. I don't want to put it out there that I hope that it's better or worse than Superman. At this point, as a comic book fan, I want them both to be fantastic.
Thank you. I want them both to succeed.
I want them both to be good.
Yes, there's no reason why you should pit them against each other.
Exactly.
They're two different complete entities.
Yep.
And they're also coming from 2 different directions. We have one that is going to be building a world. Again, this is like the 3rd reboot for DC movies, but
yeah,
James Gunn has a lot riding on this. He really does. And I have not seen the final. I've not seen the final Superman trailer. I didn't want to watch it.
I wanted to watch the Fantastic Four one because they've already spoiled Franklin, and you get to see him, and we get to see Galactus's chest. So and the Fantastic Car, you see it take off and fly, so that was cool. You got to see Ben with the beard. Do you notice
Ben
that?
with a beard. Yes.
Rock beard. I was like, what the hell are you doing? See, y'all just
Yes.
acting crazy now with the rock beard. I'm like, y'all are just being silly. But
yes.
But I'm here for it. Still no Alicia Masters. At least I didn't see her in the trailer. Did you see her?
Nope. But I still don't like. I love Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah.
Like Poker Face. This season of Poker Face. Now that it's untethered by. Do you watch Poker Face?
No, but it's on my to watch list. But we haven't started watching it yet.
This season has been different because she's not hiding and she's not on the run. She's just being her, helping people. And her voice is so distinct that it's going to be really, I don't know what to expect with her. And that hair, it's going to be a different kind of Alicia. If she's even being Alicia.
I think she is. And I think that she's going to be like, yo, Ben, why are you doing this? Stop with the New York accent. I can't do a New York accent. But Ben, what are you doing? You rock face gremlin? I don't know. That's horrible.
Yeah.
The Barlord says, I get why the kids are there, but the normies don't know these characters. So it would have been nice to have just the core group starting out. Well, there's only one kid so far, unless you're talking about Herbie. Herbie's, I guess they're kind of surrogate son. I don't know. But I'm fine with it.
I have to say, this is where we don't need an origin story at all because there's been so many different movies about the Fantastic Four.
Oh, we'll get it.
And cartoons. But I mean, I don't want an origin movie. I don't care if they just show a 5-minute origin.
No. It's gonna be when that guy introduces them, he's gonna say something probably like, you saw the first family, and blah blah blah, this and that, and it's gonna be like spectacle and woo and and then you're gonna introduce them, and that's gonna be it. And we're gonna go on to the story. So that's what I believe what's gonna happen. But
as opposed to Superman, who they're throwing. So I have a friend who really doesn't want to see the Superman movie because he believes that the fact that it's not a Superman movie, that's why he doesn't like it. Because there's way too many characters taking away from the Superman part of the Superman movie. And I'm always like, I think it's a Superman movie about Superman, but it's also showing you that it's a shared world. And those are the things that Marvel didn't do it that way. Marvel started separately. So what?
No, I was just thinking about like if we're gonna stay to the end and watch Superman break Lex's neck at the end. No, I just heard that as a comment. Someone was talking about like, because everyone always compares it to the Snyderverse. Everything for Superman nowadays is compared to the Snyderverse, and it's like they're all hoping that Lex Soup snaps Lex neck at the end, and I'm like, now y'all just being silly.
No, this is going to be the Boy Scout Superman. This is going to be the caring and the empathy Superman. This isn't going to be the dark movie verse. The latest FF was a tearjerker.
I don't read Fantastic Four anymore. Sorry.
I haven't either.
Very few
because of Doom. I'm not enjoying this whole Doom thing.
So, do you think the rumor's true that Ultraman is Henry Cavill?
That'd be awesome if it was.
So we're going to leave you with that image as we go to break because we have actual comics to talk about in the next segment. So stick around because we're talking about the new history of the DCU as well as, what is it, a jaunty journey back to the Age of Apocalypse. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Oh, let him know, Kyle.
Kyle. To commercial, Mutton Chop Kyle. At least someone in the chat, in the comment.
I just got the speaker turned up and heard commercial, and I'm watching a commercial for Little Caesars.
Yum.
Commercial.
Fantastic Four. The Mole Man has come up through the streets of New York and attacked the Little Caesars.
Wait a minute. That's an actual commercial?
New one.
Yeah, I'm going. I don't know what I'm watching right now, but I am not high enough for this.
I am ready. I am ready for that to happen in the Fantastic Four. Please
Right.
make that happen.
They have to attack the worst pizza place they can find.
And with that, we'll be right back.
FOC, a comic industry term for the final day a new comic can be ordered by a local comic shop. So, what does that mean to you? Well, it's your last chance to order a new comic book from your local comic shop. Order up! The FOC show will go over every book that's about to be cut off every Friday afternoon.
I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is really worth paying attention to,
so that you can put in an order at your LCS for as many copies or as many variant covers as you want.
Sometimes the store needs to know to up their orders.
Never miss out on a popular comic again. Order up, part of the experience. Hey, did you know that you're invited to an art gala? No, I mean the fun kind. It's Sketch Up with Mog and Mel.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks again for joining us.
Featured guests talk about their new projects.
So it takes place in this fantasy world where the world has kind of lost its stories.
And life as an artist.
The hope was that you could make some amount of money when you exited art school.
While the ever-changing artist panel draws new works live in front of your eyes.
Oh, I like that. Working on the
And
shadow.
sexy. Sex, dude.
You still got a little bit of time.
Ooh, Phil, that's dope, dude.
Sketch Up with Mog and Mel. Thursday nights. Part of the experience.
In a world where you hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, that'd be really great. Thanks.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You are watching the Geek Chat on the Experience. I'm Beardy Rich.
And I'm Little Black Beardy Dez. One quick thing I wanted to say. Say what you will about Little Caesars Pizza, but its founder, Mike Ilitch, secretly paid Rosa Parks' rent for over a decade after she was robbed and assaulted in her home in 1994. He helped her move to a safer neighborhood and continued to provide financial assistance until her death in 2005. This act of generosity was revealed after his death in 2017. So,
wow.
The Illich family are still great people. They give a ton of money to local charities in and around Detroit and Southeast Michigan every year. That does not mean their pizza is technically food.
I mean,
well, I guess we're not getting a sponsorship from them.
Probably not. But hey, maybe they'll help us out anyway.
I'm banned from 2 Little Caesars. I'll just throw it out there.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
My girlfriend in high school worked there, and, things.
Yeah, things. Oh, my God. Okay, so now the giveaway. There it is.
That is a 1 in 25 of the new history of the DC universe by Michael Choi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's the number
we're
one.
We're reviewing this next, too, by the way.
We're going to be reviewing this next. But again, as always, hashtag Geek Chat in the chat, in the comment section in order to get this fantastic comic. Remember, if you don't win, it goes to Rich. And we can't have that. We cannot have that.
Hey, guess what got announced today?
What?
Transformers number 25 is going to debut with Robert Kirkman writing and the amazing Dan Mora doing the art. I'm so excited.
Whoa.
Yes.
Well, okay then.
Yes, wow. Very excited for that.
I did not know that.
That's your news of the day, people.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the new history of the DCU.
All right. Mark Waid did the writing. Todd Knock and Jerry Ordway were the artists. Matt Herms and John Kalisa were the colorists, and Todd Klein did the lettering.
That cover is amazing.
Chris Samney and Giovanni Nero.
I'm a Chris Samney fan. I've always been a fan of his. I would love to have a piece of original artwork And I'm hopeful that Rick on his Friday night show will have some of his work.
Nick.
Yeah, Nick. That's Nick.
Oh, I thought you said Rick.
No, Nick. Well,
I got to turn this up. Hold on.
Maybe I did say Rick. I don't know, but Nick.
I think.
We'll have some of that sweet Sam Nee art on his show on Fridays that you can take a look at. As he sells original comic art. That'd be amazing if he did. But all right, Rich, since you are the quintessential DC fan, I'll start with you with this. What did you think about this new, this new take on the history of the DCU?
So
I didn't expect it to be like this. Like, I was very surprised by how
it's not a traditional panel-to-panel comic book, people.
No.
This literally is Barry Allen retelling the story of how the DC universe was born. Starts off with, and they are rewriting everything that has happened. Everything. So, Perpetua from what was it? Whatever that event was. Where
it wasn't
a couple of years ago.
Dark Metal? No,
it was after that.
It was after that.
Yeah. So anyhow, she now is part of with the monitors and.
Well, they were her. She was the mother of the three monitors who were the caretakers of each of the three realities, and I guess the source gave birth to her, or something, and then she propagated the three main universes before the multiverse kind of popped out and did its own thing. So,
I like the fact that they talked all about pretty much everything I grew up reading in this.
That's the thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because I did not start reading DC stuff until really wholeheartedly until about the late 90s, early 2000s. I want to say I really did not get super into it until the Jeff Johns run of JSA.
Wow.
I had started, I had read other comics before then. Like, I read Legends and I read Crisis and I read Vertigo books, but I didn't really start reading. Oh, I read Titans books, but I didn't really start following DC until that time, and I really started to go back. So a lot of stuff that you talk about, like Infinity Inc. or the original JSA, or Justice Society,
All-Star Squadron.
I didn't read those. Like, I
did.
So reading this, I was like, and I know the stories, if I was to go back and read those stories, they would not be like this because this is all a new telling. But it made me want to visit those places. So the one thing that I'm hoping to get out of this new history of the DC universe is stories that are told from this new history.
Yeah. Like seeing the Freedom Fighters and Dollman and Uncle Sam, and then sorry, I was reading. So the whole thing with like the JSA.
Yeah.
It's a good, I see this, I'm reading this, and it's bringing back really good memories of good stories. The thing I was never into the war stories. So the page with the Unknown Soldier and Sergeant Rock and Gravedigger, never heard of him.
Yeah, this classic Gary Ordway artwork was interesting to see.
Yes. We'll talk about the art after. But for the story, yes, challenges of the unknown are mentioned. So it's all mentioning, but they are bringing in their new stuff, because something that bugged me was the new Injustice Society and the new villains that the JSA are fighting. They kind of inserted Red Lantern and Johnny Sorrow into the past, and I was like, right here.
Well, because they just did a miniseries. They just did a miniseries with the Red Lantern. So this is they're now kind of codifying what has been going on in the last couple of years.
Like, I really get it. I get what they're doing. They are taking everything they've been writing and inserting it into the proper history to make it seem like it's been there, which is okay. I get it. It's cool. I was happy to see Amazing Man.
Oh
Because
yeah,
he doesn't get enough love at all. And he's been around for a very, 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 very
and
long time.
that spread page that Todd Knock did of all of those old timey heroes, like I wanted to read some of those, you know, like I wanted to see what was going on with those. But
I also didn't do the Westerns, but
I didn't do the Westerns.
I know a lot of these characters because they've shown up in other titles. Not their titles I didn't read. Like Nighthawk and Cinnamon at one time, I believe, were supposed to be Hawk people. They were reincarnated at one time, I believe, as you know.
And the whole thing
okay,
about
the art.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that, and the whole thing about like the Hawkman and all this other stuff. One quick thing before we leave, and the ending marked, is that supposed to be, because they talked about Superman coming? Are they breaking this into eras?
Yes.
Are we going into the Silver Age era now? Okay.
Yeah. Different artists will be on it. I also really liked at the end, the timeline that you could actually go for their first appearances. I think a lot of work was put into this, and I'm really happy they're doing it. Like,
I would agree with you.
This was a great way. Yeah, Mark Waid is definitely the guy. It's not a traditional comic book. Don't think you're getting it for a story.
A lot of splash pages.
Yeah, mostly. So I've always been a fan of Jerry Ordway. He is a very classic artist. He understands the human anatomy, and he just lays it out there. Nothing splashy.
It took me a while to get used to. It took me a while to get used to the Jerry Ordways because, again, for a long time I worshipped at the altar of Jim Lee and that style, and it took me a long time to appreciate those classical artists. And I call them classical, like even Kirby, Stranko, Ramada Senior, John Buscema, all those people.
For me, it's lesser names: Carmen Infantino.
Oh,
Gil Kane.
Yeah, Gil Kane. Gil Kane was always kind of cool, though. I liked that kind of pop art style that he did.
And I'm blanking on the guy that did Shazam back in the day, where it was basically he had two dots. Wasn't it
for the eyes? Yeah,
2 dots.
I can't remember his name either, but I know you're talking about. Because I have a couple of old Shazams.
Todd Knock, I have been a fan of his for years. He is a solid artist. And one of the things I loved was the very first page of this book and how you're looking at all the trophies in Barry's office. And I just sat there looking and naming everything and being like, oh, this is Jack-o'-lantern from Global Guardians. This is his lantern. You've got Wild Dog's mask. Like the rings that are in the little jars. You have Ma Hunkle's pot hat. Like, Todd Knock went into the archives and was like, I'm going to fill this page. I'm going to fill this page with a lot of little goodies for your eyes.
Yeah. And if you're ever at a con, you can meet Todd Knock. Go do it.
He's so nice.
He's a very nice guy. He's very nice.
We've met him a couple times. He's so nice.
I've interviewed him a couple times. I got a couple of pieces of original art from him. Such a great guy. But yeah, I definitely pick it up.
Chief Carmen Infantino love.
But yeah, I cannot wait to read the second one and to see what they're going to talk about. One thing that I am worried about is because this is the quote unquote history. We ain't going to talk about the Legion probably. And I'm sad about that. I want to see what's happening in the future and stuff like that.
I think they will, because you can't talk about Superboy in a DC world without talking about the Legion, considering the Legion was formed because of Superboy.
Superboy.
You have to include the Legion when you talk about Superboy.
Yeah.
You just have to. And if they don't, I'll be real disappointed.
No. I think that they will, given Mark Waid's affinity for the Legion. I think he will talk about them. And if you haven't read his Legion, Supergirl and Legion, it was really good. Really worth it.
It really was.
Okay, so next up on the agenda is.
So I just want to say real quick.
Sure.
We are ordering this week the first part of the Dark Side Legion.
Oh.
I can't wait.
It's on my pull.
I can't wait to review that issue because what they're doing, and they actually in the new history, they show you this new timeline.
Yeah.
And the new timeline includes so We Are Yesterday, which was the world's finest Justice League crossover that some was better than others. It ended very strong with what's coming, and next is the Legion of Darkseid in Superman, and that's going to be July through September. And then in fall, at the very last pages of the We Are Yesterday crossover, another crisis, go figure, another crisis is coming from DC, and that is what they're saying, fall, and it's an Omega sign. So I'm really hoping that the Absolute line gets introduced to this new timeline. Yes, I would love the two Wonder Womans, Batmans, and Supermans to meet.
I would love. I just want the Legion to fight the Omega Legion or Darkseid's Legion. That'd be so cool. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Alrighty. On to the giant size Age of Apocalypse #1 with your favorite mutant and mine, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel.
All right. Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, they're writing all these, so they're the writers. The artists C.F. Villa and Rafael Lorenio Rowe. Colorist Edgar Delgado, and the letter is VC's Clayton Cowles. The backup story, which is the whole reason to buy this book, was written by Jeff Loeb, and the artist is Simone DeMeo. I love his art so much. Letters, Richard Starkings and Comicraft, and that cover was by Adam Kubert. I got the always gorgeous art germ, because why not?
She's gonna punch you, Rich.
She is. Okay, so what did you think?
I like this better than the other two.
Really?
Yeah, I liked the quiet moment between Kamala and Legion. I liked that moment. I thought, okay, now we're finally having them talk about it. You know what's going on. Hi, Garth Wong.
Hey, Garth Wong.
I kind of like those moments about they were kind of like pseudo gonna work together, and I really enjoyed seeing the folks from the Age of Apocalypse universe. I really enjoyed seeing that Rogue. I really liked that version of Rogue. I really liked that version of Colossus. It was just fun for that. In spite of Kamala Khan and what was going on with that, and her, having that kind of like side story with Rogue to learn her powers because she's now a mutant, and I'm like, okay, so and I personally think she has reflective light powers or hard light powers. I'm still a little confused about exactly what her powers are because she used them at the end in order to mess with the Imkron crystal.
Well, she used them last issue to remember.
But they were like hard light type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, and then like for her to like get it so soon, and I'm like, okay, Triumph, yay! But I don't know. I just, out of all of them, this is the one that I disliked the least. So that is
that you disliked the least.
Yeah. So
wow.
Well, I just don't know what they're doing with this or where it's going, and so because of that, I just have to look at it as a standalone piece of fiction, and am I enjoying what I'm reading and the narrative that is being presented to me, because I have no idea where this is going, and I think Marvel and DC, unfortunately, has done a fantastic job, unfortunately, of training us for the next big thing instead of letting things kind of like sit and be its own story. So for me, presented with this, I'm like, okay, so if this is not leading into anything, and I'm not reading it in order to stay caught up on the newest, Marvel X-Men thing. Well, does it stand up on its own? And the other two ones didn't really do that. And this one sort of did, only because, like I said, I liked the character moments between Legion and Kamala. And I love the character moments of the Age of Apocalypse X-Men. So for me, I thought that was a lot of fun. And I know next they're going to House of M. So
House of M is next.
So let's see what's happening with that one. I don't know. Not Never Wars. We're talking about House of M. Mudchop Kyle over there drinking his moonshine. Okay, Rich. What are your
Actually, I
thoughts?
dropped the popsicle.
Oh, there we go.
So,
what are your thoughts, Rich?
I absolutely love the Age of Apocalypse. When that happened, I remember at my comic shop going in, standing in line, and this was in Syracuse, New York. Well, North Syracuse. And it was the Comic Zone. And Greg's the owner. Greg's a fantastic guy. If you're in Syracuse and you need a comic book store, go to Comic Zone. And I would be in line. Oh,
What do you want?
She's so cute. So I remember being in line, and I always would do this. I'd always go to the last couple pages to see what's happening. And he would make a comment, And I remember the first time, the first book, I don't remember what book it was, where the last page crystallized because the book was ending and you were going, the next issue was going to be the Age of Apocalypse. And I just remember being like, what the hell's going on? And then all those titles with the weird twisted versions of these mutants that I loved. Age of Apocalypse, Joe Mad's art. So Steve Epting's art. There's so much good things about Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And then they did they went back and tried to revisit it a couple times. But the one thing that came out of it really good was you had Creed in Exiles. So, all right, fast forward to me reading this. I was like, you're kind of pissing on the, memories, not memories. It was kind of half-assed, in my opinion, of some of these, how they're acting. And them sitting around having dinner together or drinking. I was just like, oh, I don't know if I really believe this. It was interesting to see Destiny having a freak out. But I'm going to tell you one thing, and we have a mutual friend. His name is Don. And Don and I talk about comics a lot. And he believes that they are not writing comics for us anymore, Des. They're not. They are writing for the next generation. And then I say, well, that means kids are getting stupider.
Wow.
And they're talking down to kids. Because, sometimes they are.
There's your soundbite. There's your soundbite, Kyle.
No. I have to say something, and I don't want to offend anyone because everyone's offended nowadays. The thing that took me right out of this book instantly.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. I know what
you
you're
do?
Gonna say. Yeah, it's at the beginning.
It is.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
My name is Ms. Marvel, and that's Legion. I'm a she. They're a them. Unnecessary. This rogue doesn't give no shits about what you are. She's trying to live her life and not die. She's trying to save her world. That was the stupidest. I'm trying not to swear. Don't write down to kids. I don't care if that's what the kids say. No. Rogue
wasn't
doesn't
necessary.
give a damn about you. It's unnecessary. Just
I
Sorry,
knew you
guys.
were going to say that right when I was reading it. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's like, it was sort of like that, unalive comment.
Unalive. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We used to watch G.I. Joe. Let me tell you, Cobra Forces couldn't hit the whatever
Broadside
the
of a
phrase
truck.
is.
Yeah.
Yes. They are stormtroopers, basically. Transformers. I don't know. I think that we growing up with different media really. Yes, that's all I'm going to say.
We could have a whole conversation about media in America versus media over in the other countries. It's very interesting what kids see over there and what kids see here and all that other stuff. Yes. So it's very interesting. But that's a whole different subject.
Let's talk about the last 4 pages. Okay. This is leading into the Age of Apocalypse world coming directly into the 616. So according to this, Apocalypse is dead. Someone has made Weapon X, meaning Wolverine, and Creed work together, but Blink doesn't know anything about it. Like, I'm very interested in it.
And the artwork was great.
So Simon DeMeo is Mayo. I don't know how to say his name.
His art was great.
Yes, he is going to be penciling the new miniseries, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So it was trying to think. Apocalypse's son, Holocaust. I think he's also going to be involved.
Yeah.
Because in the 616, we have Doug. Do you remember reading the Heir of Apocalypse?
Yes, where Doug became I can't remember his name now. Rapture or something? I remember.
Revelation. I think it's Revelation.
I think it's Revelation. And so he is now Apocalypse. And so we'll see what happens with that. But that guy's art, the guy you said, his art is fantastic, and I really love it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I really love this artwork. I thought it was great. And when I turned that page, I was like, it really reminds me of Jorge Jimenez. And I was like, huh. But I'm actually kind of excited to read that too, in seeing where they're going to be going with that. A Torty alert. Yes, that's Sophie. That is our Torty. We love her to death. She's silly. But on that note, we have one more break, and then we're going to talk about a couple more comics. A comic that I actually really enjoyed that I didn't think I was going to enjoy. And then Rich is going to talk about Absolute Wonder because he is super loving that book. So stay tuned.
Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? It's Friday Night Live! With Nancy McCann. And Ricky. And sometimes Carlos. And featuring boxes and boxes of rare comics. Unique collectibles. Lots of smiles and conversations with new friends. Friday Night Live with Comics Unlimited. Friday night from 9 to 11 on The Experience. Sure, comic books are beautiful, but underneath, there's something more authentic and exciting. The original art. See the pencils, the lines, the shading, as if you were there in the studio watching the artist work. Getting a peek at comics' backstage is easy with the original art experience.
All right, Friday night, guys. Thank you for being here. To be doing anything, the fact that you're here means the world to me.
Nick's pieces are always value priced with your budget in mind, for the beginning collector to the veteran.
And this is gorgeous. You got Aquaman and Mira.
Join the original art experience with Nick and our friendly crew of regulars, even if it's just to enjoy the art. Fridays at 7. It's all part of the experience.
Did you know that Arthur, King of the Britons in Monty Python and the Holy Grail was played by a famous Graham? Check out another famous Graham by following our Instagram.
all you wonderful people. Welcome back to the Geek Chat on the Experience. I'm Beardy Rich.
And I'm Little Black Beardy Des. And yeah, we're back. Before we go on to our giveaway, I want to give a big shout out to who's coming up next, and that is Sketch Up with special guests. Well, it's Mog and Mel with special guests Ron Miltz from Inland Blue Comics, plus Roberto Dacu from Canada shares his art, and Mr. Fish is back. So you don't want to miss this live auction. Melon Mog shares highlights from their trip to Heroes Con. So definitely stay tuned after this. Check out them. Also, every day of every week, there's something cool going on. So please take a look at other options that are other shows that are on the Experience, because they got a bunch of stuff. Whether you're looking to buy comics, whether you're looking to hang out and look at other reviews to see how other folks within this community are thinking about these books. Definitely go check them out as well. A lot of good programming on this show, so definitely do that. And we love to see you. Looks like Munchop Kyle's gonna say something.
Ron Miltz had to cancel last second, but they are
God.
working on rescheduling him.
Mm-hmm.
And then just something that, and I really would love to hear Rich's reaction when I put this up.
Oh Lord!
This is the thumbnail for our show on Sunday. Henri and I are doing a 3-hour live sale, 9 midnight Eastern. This is the thumbnail.
Oh Lord! Oh my Lord!
I love it.
Yes, you're going into the ring to battle low prices.
Oh
huh?
my God, that is awesome.
Wow. Okay.
It's funny. I silently stalk a lot of the shows because I watch it on
not
TV.
kidding.
I watch it on the TV, so I can't comment. So there's no way to comment. But then when I watch it on my phone and I have it on the TV, I can comment. So I watch Henri a lot. I watch a lot of them, but I've been watching him. He's got a lot of good stuff to buy. And I really enjoy Friday nights with Nancy. So be sure to watch that. I kind of watched Nick for a bit.
I watched Nick's show. I like the artwork he shows.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and we don't watch the other reviewers. Nah.
Oh, no. You guys don't watch Jen King or anybody, no.
Yeah.
But no.
Only us.
So Jen is on before us.
You see that beef for starting?
She had some great stuff on today as well.
Yeah.
She had
a lot of watch
collection today.
Yeah, it was really cool.
We should have a wrestling match.
We're doing riddles and blind bags on my show on Sunday, on my part of the show on Sunday. So it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I watched part of you for very, very brief. We had to go. And you were doing the bags as well. It was you and Jay.
Yeah, every now and then producer Kyle will just kind of like show up and he's just like, hey, and I'll like be at work and he'll show up and I'm like, oh, Kyle's doing something, and I'll tune in and I'm like, oh, okay.
A lot of the time I'm just trying to figure stuff out. Like I'm experimenting on myself.
That's good. That's good.
I don't mess anybody else's money up, but I'll mess mine up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Be your own guinea pig. That's the advice from Mud and Chop Kyle. Be your own guinea pig.
Yeah. Right.
Having said that, don't be a guinea pig and get this variant. Who is it by again, Rich?
Michael Cho.
Yes, it is a 1 in 25 variant for the new history of the DC universe. We want to give it away. If you haven't already, please put hashtag Geek Chat in the comment section, and we can send it to you. Because as always, if we don't give it out to somebody, it goes to Rich, and we can't have that. He's a collector goblin, and Cougs doesn't want him to have any other stuff. So, all righty.
I got 3 covers for the new history of the DC universe.
So crazy. So, this is Never Wars. Unfortunately, I was unable to get it. So at my local comic book store, independents are kind of like that. Unfortunately, I'll have to go back and see if I can pick it up to actually read this. But Rich did read it, and he's going to give a quick review of it.
Yes, real quick review. All right, so I just want to get this out of the way. Created by Dan Hanfield, Tim Zajoros and Chris Lemole. Written by Dan Hanfield. The pencils are by Marcelo Basile. The colors are by Marco Draco. And the lettering is done by Dave Landfair. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So this takes place in 1914 in France.
Okay. Very specific.
They're at war, and the woman on the cover is taking care of a wounded soldier. And she knows this wounded soldier from somewhere, but she's not being directly honest with her superior mother. She tries to save him from execution because he abandoned his post. So they're literally keeping him alive to kill him as an example.
As you do.
As you do back then. So she decides she's going to take matters into her own hands. She goes to this trunk. Oh, her name is Dorothy Gale, by the way.
Ooh.
She goes to this trunk in the east. She pulls out an umbrella, which is labeled West, and 2 slippers. And in the original, I am not a Wizard of Oz fan by any means. The
They were
gate
silver.
did not hit any of that. But I guess the original ones were silver. Well, these are silver in the book. So
trademarked. The red ones are trademarked.
Yeah. So she goes to save this guy, and she uses the umbrella, which creates this giant tornado. So the enemy troops are taken out, her people are taken out, and her and this soldier end up in Oz. That's the book, basically. Like, spoiler alert. That's the first issue.
Yeah, isn't it about wars? Because I was reading it, and it sounded very interesting because it's a war between Neverland, Oz, and what's the third place? It's
I don't know. You don't find out in this yet.
Oh no, but they said it in the solicits, and I cannot remember. But there's a third one that is Wonderland. There you go, Wonderland, and those are the 3 realms that are at war with each other.
So I just want to show you. This is the last page, showing you Oz, the flying monkeys, banners, and an army, basically. And whoops, wrong way. Where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go? There we go. That's Dorothy and the soldier. And the soldier turns out to be the Scarecrow, as I thought would be. Now, there's a backup story introducing Peter Pan, which producer Kyle told us that there were 3 number 1s for Never Wars, and each was about a different character.
Oh, wow. So there you go, everybody.
So I did not read the other 2, but I'm going to actually end up reading the other 2 tomorrow on my Enjoy a Reading Day. This is my reading day for this show. Tomorrow, Fridays are my pleasure time. That sounds really wrong, but it's my pleasure books. We'll say that.
Well, I thought about this because I know Paul really likes speculative fiction about other worlds. So I thought that he would really enjoy this when I started thinking about it. So I probably will be picking up the other 3, or so the other 2, in order to see what the whole story is and see if he likes it.
I don't know where Toto is. They haven't said yet.
We had Don, who wrote this book, on the FOC show last Friday.
Okay.
Where he was FOCing his next book, which is sort of like Painkiller Jane meets Cupid. Love Struck.
Yes, we saw that in
So
we're going to be reviewing it.
Yeah, he talks about this book on there. So if you want to go back and watch that episode of Order Up the FOC show, you can find out more about this book from the writer, who, by the way, again, he ran the series Nightfall with Mark Hamill that they did at the History Channel, and he was a producer on the movie The Founder with what's his name? He used to be Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that guy.
So, yeah, that guy. Yes, Paul, I know. So anyway,
it was a pretty good number 1. The artist, it's solid, but sometimes the people don't look alike from panel to panel. And I'm like, okay. But I'll tell you, I'm I'm a sucker for a full panel, and there are not a lot of empty panels in this. The artist and the coloring is drab because you're at war. But when they go, just like the Wizard of Oz movie, once they go to Oz, it becomes very colorful, like very colorful. I really liked that aspect of it too. Kind of followed the movie in that drab to bright. So yeah, definitely, I would say if you can find this, because Des had a hard time finding it in his local comic book store. And we were also going to review news from the Fallout, but they were also out of that at his store. I read this. It was a very interesting book. I don't want to say too much because I want Des to actually read it. Maybe we can review this in the upcoming weeks.
Okay.
On a light week with no number ones, kind of like we did last week, where it was a light number one, so we went back and read a bunch of number ones. I kind of like doing that for you guys, if you guys do like that, because the whole idea is the number ones. We want to let you know what you should be reading. And yes, Jen and Jay, and I cannot remember the third person's name, they do a different kind of book. They go into Minute to Skim It. So, yeah. But next up, you liked this book?
Wow. You say it with such disdain. Yes, I actually liked X-Men, Demons and Death. Okay, let's be completely transparent. I liked the first story. Second story, I'm not a huge Omega Red fan, so I really couldn't get invested in his backstory.
Shanice, that's it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I could not get into it.
So the first story, the Demons part, was written by Alex Parknad. Kyle, you know how to say this name.
He's got a popsicle. Keep going.
No, I was getting set up for the next show. It's Alex Packnadell.
Okay. Thank you, Alex Packnadell.
Who will be joining us tomorrow on Order Up.
I knew that. That's another reason why I wanted to say it. Artist is Philip Sevy. Color artist is Arthur Hesley. And the letterer was VC's Clayton Cowles. And I got to be honest, I love Mike McCone, and he did that cover. I've always loved Mike McCone's art. I need him inside of a book, please. Yeah. Not just the covers. Okay, so the first story follows Alex Summers and Madeline Pryor. It is a continuation of the Dark X-Men storyline before, I believe, this is set before he debuted in that hideous, horrible X whatever book.
X Factor.
Book, that trash book that they tried to trash.
It's ended. Leave it alone. Let's move on. I actually liked it. I actually liked this book, and the reason why I liked it is I've always liked. I mean, some people say like it's always been Alex and Lorna. I've always liked Alex and Maddie. I thought they were both rejects who came together to form a love. I really loved Mutant X. If you ever want to read a really good story about Alex and Madeline Pryor in like an alt world where Havoc is actually the star and can actually star in his own book without being in Scott's shadow. Fantastic book, fantastic series of books, really good. Mutant X, check it out. Tom Rainey did the art. He's one of my favorite artists. Just a solid series.
I agree. Love it.
Yeah, and so I got a little bit of that with them, and their story was kind of poignant. Havoc got torn up during the fall of Krakoa. Maddie
was killed.
I know. But Maddie.
I'm sorry if it screws up our algorithm.
but Maddie was using botched necromancy to keep him alive by using demon skin and all that. But she was basically doing a misery on him. She was doing this on purpose in order to keep him enfeebled, so that way he would not leave. And so him and one of the other demons that is a servant goes to Limbo and frees your best friend from the Inferno.
Nasty.
Yeah, which was really cool. I thought it was great seeing him, and fight ensues. Scott gets cured, resurrected. Sorry, Alex gets I can't remember. Alex gets resurrected, and he's off the board. I really like the conversation they had. I like the. I don't know. I just really thought it was a really fun, well crafted little side story about them. It was a one and done, and again, you ask yourselves, can this story stand on its own? I think it can, because maybe it's because because it had people that I was interested in. But yeah, I really liked that first one. Second book, not so much.
I agree. I really enjoyed this first story only because so over on Twitter, I'm following this guy, and he's been doing 25 days of your favorite mutants. And
I've been watching you. Yeah.
I picked Alex a couple days ago. I've always liked Alex more than Scott. I'm not going to get into the Scott hate, but if we had to kill one of the brothers, it would be Scott, because I feel Alex has always gotten the shaft from in the 70s. He's always been the one to take the punches. So yeah, when he died and went into the Mutant X world and was the leader, he had no brother to deal with. I loved that book. I loved Alex during the whole Outback, and they refer to the Outback in this between Maddie and him talking. They talk about, being in Australia and you being on the beach. Those issues, the whole Outback era for X-Men,
fantastic.
Like that was a high bar that when you remember reading it and you were there for all this. So yeah, Alex and Maddie unfortunately did turn quite evil, with even going to sacrifice Nathan, her own kid. But she is the demon queen now,
as you do,
the goblin queen. And I actually really like the embassy being in New York. I wish they would give us more. Dark X-Men was a very short-lived book, but I like the idea that she was opening her home to unwanted mutants. And I think it's too bad that Tom Brevoort doesn't want any of this anymore, because I think it's a great concept to have as a book. Yeah. Now, the last story was written by Alex as well. Let me get the thing. This one, same artist, same everything basically, but it was about Omega Red. Now, I liked Omega Red for a hot minute when he was in X-Force, written by Benjamin Percy. And I liked his involvement, where he was against the Beast. Beast had gone crazy, and he was working on the side of good, even though he's a mutant, an evil killer mutant. So the backstory of him just getting revenge on someone in his past, while a good idea, it just fell flat in the execution. It ends up he was there to get revenge for this woman that the town called a witch. The town believed that, she killed their sons and daughters, and that wasn't the truth. It was chemicals in the water. I mean, come on now. Very plot, and very forgettable story about a character I really, you were talking about Jim Lee when Omega Red showed up in X-Men, and everyone was really cool. And sad. Yeah. I want to know who Jelani is, and why we should do a review together, Mr. Eddie.
Well,
that's interesting.
It's definitely something we got to talk about maybe later. But I will not be replaced. Damn it!
No, you will never be replaced. Oh, I forgot to message you. We had our 100th 9 years ago last week. You and I hit our 100th live Facebook show. It came up in my Facebook memories, and 9 years ago we hit 100 episodes.
I mean, for a long time, sir.
Dude, we've been doing yes, and I love it that we're doing it to a new format on a new channel. I'm still the grumpy, you're still the happy-go-lucky. I love it. I just want to say two things about Wonder Woman, and then we can end the show.
real fast though, I got to tell you guys, more people are showing up every week for y'all.
We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
We're really excited,
Thank
and loving
you.
the show.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Thank you,
congratulations
everyone.
on
Tell your
doing
friends.
what you do too long.
Yeah, tell your friends. Like and share and subscribe, all that good stuff. So what do you got to say about Wendy?
I have been a Wonder Woman fan since Linda Carter did the spins. And I've been invested in her as a character through good and bad. But I think Kelly Thompson is crafting a story more closer to William Moulton Masters, I'm screwing his name up, than any other writer. So, two things, spoilers. This book is out, I hope, because I have it, and I get books a little early. I believe it came out Wednesday. The very first costumed foe Wonder Woman fought in 41 was Dr. Poison. The very first foe Absolute Wonder Woman fought is Dr. Poison.
In that big ass suit.
What?
In that big ass suit.
Yeah. Oh, the suit's amazing in this. The other thing is in this, spoiler alert, Clea shows up. Clea debuted in number 8. This is number 9, but I believe if I think then maybe she should have shown up at 8. This would have been 8 if it wasn't for that. They did like a one-shot insert. So I think the idea was to have this come out at 8. The fact that Wonder Woman, the armor on the front, she has a full set of armor. Remember, they've been trying to give Wonder Woman armor
for a long
Let's
time.
See. She had the Golden Eagle suit that her mother had, and it was in the second Wonder Woman movie. I believe they used it as like a paperweight in the movie. She has a suit of magical armor that she brings forth. She calls weapons from her pouch. She's magic based.
Yes.
But she retains the essence of Wonder Woman in that she's ready to drop Dr. Poison off a building to get information for the sake of good. Like, she's doing things. And I think it's a direction that people have been trying. I feel like Wonder Woman has been stuck since before Rebirth with the same villain.
Agreed.
The same villain being her family. She's tied to Zeus. She's tied to all these gods. The gods are always messing with her. Here, the gods are different. Here, the gods abandoned the Amazons, basically. They left baby Diana on an island with Circe. The mythos that Kelly Thompson is creating in this Wonder Woman, it's what's been missing from Wonder Woman for at least a decade. Now, I'm also enjoying what Tom King is doing over in the regular Wonder Woman. I really am. It is a more personal story. We've had her Rogues Gallery at least show up. But I'm telling you, this Absolute Wonder Woman is a different kind. And they introduced Ferdinand, which, if you've read any of the past, Ferdinand was, for a while, basically her chef. So I think that everyone should be reading, if you are a fan of Wonder Woman or have been missing Wonder Woman, this book is something special. What? She almost bailed on this book. I'm glad she didn't, Barlord.
And the art is amazing. So
it took me a while to warm up to Hayden Sherman, because when you had Absolute Batman come out and it was like knocked out of the park artwork, I was like, why are they getting this guy that no one knows? But this is issue 9. And he had a fill-in for, I want to say, maybe 1 or 2 issues. He's really, really a great artist, because the forms that he draws and the menace of, like, Dr. Poison, like you said, she's in this giant clunky suit. She's in this giant clunky suit, but she's still being a badass in it. So,
all right, Rich.
Yeah, that's all. We got to go. I know. I love this book.
And she's not Venom, by the way, Eddie. No. Just so you know. Anyway, so everybody, it's that time. If you haven't already, please put your hashtag Geek Chat into the chat. We want to give away this fantastic cover of DC Universe, the new DC Universe history
of the DC Universe.
So you want to give it away. So please, let's go, everybody.
We need our own kind of music.
Hey, Garth Wong. You have won this fantastic cover.
Hey, so congratulations!
Yes. So we will be sending that out to you as always. Moonshine Mullet. Moonshine Mullet. Bud Shop Kyle's gonna be putting it in there in the chat. Please fill it out. Even if you think we already have your information, please fill it out. And we will be sending that out this weekend, hopefully. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for letting your folks know about us. And again, we do this because we enjoy talking about comics, but more importantly, we enjoy talking to you all. So thank you for coming.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for liking us.
Moonshine Mullet.
I think we need Moonshine Mullet needs to be a character.
Oh Lord. Based on Kyle.
Kyle can't be a mullet. He ain't got no hair.
Des and I will co-write it. It'll be about an Appalachian serial killer whose power is he can shoot moonshine out of his fingers or something.
There you go. Or he gets people drunk off moonshine. What is it? He gets people drunk off moonshine lollipops or suckers.
It's Condiment King, but with moonshine.
There you go. Love it.
There you go. All right, everybody. Don't steal our ideas. It'll be coming for you. So, as always, we will have another episode next week, but the following week we'll be going to Superman. So please tune in next time for our us crazy guys talking about comics. We love you all, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.